Wow.
So we're gonna head over here. We're gonna follow Gene.
Okay, we're following Gene.
And Gene is with Historic Flight Foundation. And
All right,
Historic Flight Foundation's in Everett, Washington, north of Seattle.
Actually, Mukilteo, but
Mukilteo.
It's close enough. Yeah.
Close enough. So, and this is their plane here. And
877 Mike Golf, or what we're referring to now, if you listen to the radios, we're Dakota 25.
Dakota 25.
Whenever we fly out of here, our name becomes our parking spot.
Oh.
And these parking spots have changed 27 times. So we were there, we were there, we were there, we were here. Now we're in spot 25.
27 times already.
Yeah. Well, they've rearranged these numbers.
Okay. Is that pretty common at these types of events? No. Okay.
But that's what has happened.
So Dakota 25.
Dakota 25. So if you're, I don't know if you have a radio monitor or anything like that, or you can listen to the guys, but that's what they call. Otherwise, we go by our N numbers,
Right.
which is November 877 Mike Golf. That's
Okay.
our N number.
Gotcha. So we've got a number of viewers following online right now, and they like text in
That's what's
questions
on my
and
phone, yeah.
various things. So this is kind of an interactive thing. So I'm wondering if you could tell them a little bit about this particular airplane.
Okay, certainly. 877 Mike Golf. This started life as a C-47B. It was a batch of 300 C-47s built specifically to fly the hump in Asia.
Okay.
The hump referring to over the Himalayas into interior China when
Right.
the Japanese, closed off all the seaports and so on.
Right.
And what happened to you and I is that this one came with larger engines, 1,350 horse engines. They're
Wow.
still 1830s like Doc was talking about.
Okay.
But they have two-stage superchargers, so you could get up into the mid-20s to get over the mountains. Another thing this has is 400 extra gallons of fuel.
Oh, wow.
A normal DC-3 comes with 4 tanks of 200,
Okay.
so that's 800 gallons, and we have 2 additional 200 gallons.
So 50% more.
50% more.
Wow.
However, as you know, if you either can carry gas, people, or
Yep.
whatever, right? So we have yet to fill it completely. And there's another airplane here, not Ledges, I think it's Spirit of Benovia. They have the long-range tanks, and they went nonstop from Goose Bay to Reykjavik.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Well, and we thought if we had tailwinds, if the weather was good, we chose not to do that.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
went into Sandrostrom, north of Manchester.
The shorter hops just to...
Just shorter hop. And
Yeah.
those are 6-hour shorter hops.
Shorter hop, 6 hour shorter hops.
So back to the airplane. We see how we digress.
I like it.
That's all right.
So it
That's what
was
we
fun.
do.
Is that what we do?
Yeah,
That's what we do. Don't worry.
Sunny,
We're doing this
beautiful
all
day.
day. We're doing this all day.
Oh, okay.
So this can go on for however long.
Yeah.
So don't worry about it.
How's your battery?
We have 10 hours of battery life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll be wanting a beer at the pub before that battery dies.
Yeah.
All right.
Now the battery's gonna die because I said that.
Depends on which battery you're
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So it was built for flying the hump. And just as a side note, seeing as we do have time with that, the pilot that delivered this airplane from Miami to Calcutta in 1944 is still alive.
Wow.
Peter Gautier. Now, said about 4 years ago, the Chinese National Air Corps, which is airplane was the first interior China airplane.
Oh, wow.
And they had a get-together reunion in San Francisco. Well, we flew this plane with Peter down from Seattle.
Oh,
from
wow.
Seattle. So then you're based in Seattle? This aircraft's based in Seattle?
Painfield.
Painfield.
So we got him up in the cockpit, put him in the left seat, sat down there, and pilot to pilot, the way he sat there, touched the trim wheel, the control yoke, he looked out the window. I said, it's all coming back to you, isn't it, Pete? And you could just see that he was enjoying it.
Oh, wow.
That's great.
So, and the fast forward now, that was 15, I think it was. So anyway, fast forward, we're in Concord getting this group together, and we have 2 speakers the night before we're going to leave, Peter and David Hamilton, who was original Pathfinder pilot in DC-3s that went over to D-Day,
Yeah.
dropped the Pathfinders, turned around when all the assault teams were going in.
Right.
So, and he's going to ride with us
Oh, wow.
on the D-Day.
Oh, over the So you guys are heading over there as
On
well.
the 5th.
On the 5th.
Yeah.
Gotcha. You'll
I
have
mean,
a
how
ferry.
cool is all that?
That's
Isn't
really
it?
cool.
Isn't that something?
That's great.
So Peter gets it to India. It flies around India, stays interior China. There's a storyline in there how the nationalists and the communists are fighting over who owns these airplanes. Claire Chennault comes in. They're Americans, and then the British in Hong Kong decide who it goes to and where they go.
Right.
Well, as they were guarding the airplanes, the opposite side, or maybe even whether the communists or the nationalists, set a bomb off in the right wing.
Yeah.
So boom, blew the right wing up.
Oh wow.
So now, but the airplane is still very valuable. So they take the wings up, put it on a boat, ship it to Long Beach, and it's back in the U.S.
Oh wow.
And now it's U.S. property.
Okay.
So when it came back, and this is, we're talking late 40s, 49, 50, it was brought back to the Douglas plant, and they converted it for Johnson & Johnson to their corporate airplane. So
Wow.
that's why when you look at it, when you come inside, especially, but when you look at it, you see we have what they call panoramic windows, the long window in
Right,
the back. We have seating for 12. We have the chairman's chair back here with a little phone to call the cockpit. You'll see that on
She said like Johnson & Johnson, like baby powder?
the Band-Aid people.
The Band-Aid people.
Yeah. They flew it for 5 years, I think 52 to about 57,
Wow.
58. And then another company, the International Shoe Machine Manufacturing Company that builds shoes, flew it all over the world. So that's why this airplane was perfectly suited for that.
Wow.
Now what they did do, that John didn't like, is they put gear doors on it. And there is one airplane here with gear doors. We used to call them speed kits.
Speed
See it
kits.
up there? See how there's a huge door
Oh, yeah.
above the gear?
On the Civil Air Transport right there with the, yeah.
And believe it or not, that's the other Chinese airplane.
Right.
Okay.
That's
So
funny.
there's sort of dots that connect between this one and that.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
So they put the gear doors on it that fully encloses the gear, picks up a couple of ones.
Right.
There's a little fairing on the tail wheel. These are little minute things you
Yeah.
look at. Maybe they're exhaust pipes a little different to give it a speed bump. So they did that to this, as well as the nose. They put a DC-4 nose on it with radar.
Oh, okay.
It kind of looked like Pinocchio.
Oh.
It was kind of ugly, but it was very functional. The brakes, they put DC-4 brakes, which
Right.
we're very thankful for. The standard DC-3 brakes, if you can imagine it, is a tube inside the wheel.
Right.
It expands.
Can we look at it? Like go up to it?
Oh, sure.
Let's get closer. Yeah. And there is Chad. I do realize there's a lot of wind out here right now, so we're going to try and hide behind the plane a little bit and get behind the wheel. But look at the brakes.
So look at the brakes. I mean, the muscular, right?
Yeah.
But as you go around, and you'll see this is a very common modification of DC-3s. As you look around, obviously this is a disc brake, which
Right.
is more modern today.
Yep.
But you'll see some of them that haven't converted, like that one hasn't converted.
Right.
And think again of an interior tube inside the tire.
That it just expands out like a
Expands
drum
out.
brake or something
Yep.
like that.
It's very hot. It's internal, so
Yeah.
they do tend to fail.
God. So it has to be important the exact use of the brakes, right? Because when you land the aircraft, we've been watching them land, but you just land on the two front wheels.
Yes.
And you can't slam on the brakes right away. Like, I don't know.
No, and does anybody? Were you here yesterday or the day before?
Oh, yeah,
Yesterday.
yesterday.
Did you follow us over to Warden, Old Warden?
No.
In the
We were here when you got back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we had 7 of us went over to Old Warden or the Shuttleworth collection.
Right.
It's over there, which that's another story. But that's a 3,000 foot grass strip. I would tend to say that I've been into 2,400 foot strips in a DC-3, but that was when I was young and dumb.
Right.
But nowadays, at Northwest, see how quickly that comes
I know,
back?
it does.
At historic flight, we'll try to keep a minimum of about 4,000 feet
Right.
for the airplane.
Oh, wow.
Plenty of room. You don't have to rush anything. You're doing okay. Old Warden is 3,000 feet
Okay.
on grass. So you put the brakes on grass, you know
Yeah.
what could happen walking across here? Not too much, right? So all 7 went over there, and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Everybody made nice landings, and we're right in streaming, rolled out. There's grass all. Can you tell how much fun
Right?
we're having
Yeah.
with this whole
Right.
thing? So it was beautiful. And Tim Manna, who lives on the field, has his own restoration center.
Lives on the field.
Yeah,
course he
lives
does.
on the field. A beautiful mansion, lives on the field. He invited us to a barbecue. So it originally started, it was going to be our barbecue. You know, I mean, he flew over with us. Yeah, come to my house. We'll have a barbecue.
Yeah.
And he said, well, invite your friends. He ended up with 150 people at his barbecue and 7 DC-3s.
7 DC-3s on it.
Because pilots and free food.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But the Shuttleworth collection, and I was over there, and I mistakenly, we went through, they had a beautiful tour for us and so on.
Nope.
I went through and referred to it as a museum.
Right?
Oh.
They've all cut my tongue off.
No, collection, huh?
Collection.
All right.
Everything flies.
Oh, is that the
Yeah.
difference?
That tends to be, yeah. A collection is a flyable plane. So like, yeah,
Historic flight.
historic flight is
Yeah.
a collection.
Is a collection, not
It's
a
a collection,
museum,
not a
of things
museum.
that aren't so
Museum of flight
operational.
Is a museum.
Is a museum because
There
it doesn't
you
have a
got
bunch
it.
of planes that fly out of it.
That's right.
And I love
It
this
did.
smell.
Yeah, they're firing up. Well, this is going to be the second formation of 3
Right.
practice.
Okay.
So there's going to be 6 airplanes.
They're taking 6 aircraft up again. Wow. I mean, when the engine started up, chat, we just got like a big plume of smoke, and then the breeze just blew the plume of smoke right over to it. So, how are things going right now? Is everything good, chat? Can y'all see everything? Signal's good over here?
Inside where it might get a little quieter.
I mean, we could head inside where it's quieter and there's less wind.
We've got half an hour left on the camera.
Okay, then we'd have to switch them out. All right. So let's go inside the DC-3.
All right, it's fantastic.
You gotta yell.
1937, this was built for
Wow.
Eastern Airlines. Eddie Rickenbacker took it on its first flight. It's the oldest DC-3 to ever cross.
Hey, the doors are open.
And the highest hour DC-3 in existence.
Look at it right here, man. Get the pilots in there.
She didn't wait.
Y'all saw the plume, chat? Nice. All right, so we are going inside of the aircraft. You know our friend Faraday. We'll see how the signal holds up inside the aircraft. If it drops or anything like that, we're recording it locally. But let's go inside, shall we? What is this, like recliners in here?
Right?
What? This is ridiculous.
Quieter, insulated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fancy phone over here.
In case you get called, there it is.
The panoramic windows, as you're talking about,
Yeah.
the big windows.
Yeah. And he didn't want anybody close to him, so you could see 2 more seats. But if it's perfectly right here, didn't want anybody.
Didn't want anyone too close to it.
So now that we're inside, let's make sure that our equipment's working correctly. It might just take us a second to do that, and we can get comfortable and just, it's much nicer in here, actually.
Isn't it nice? Well, and we can head up there. That's okay, right, Gene? Where you can actually sit down and while they're talking.
I'll let you.
Gotcha. It's working great. Is the audio good? Are we having problems with the body packs? We could probably turn the body packs off here, chat.
There's been occasional static.
Okay. Is it bad enough that we should disable them and just use the shotgun? Because in an enclosed space like this, the shotgun's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, in here should be fine.
Yeah.
Shotgun.
Leg room on a plane. I know. Look at all the leg room here.
I'm not on there, but I'm going to kind of warn you. Sitting in those chairs,
Right?
you got to kind of work to get up.
Yeah.
So that's why I swung those 2 around.
Oh, nice.
You know,
It's easier
to
to.
make it more
Yeah,
graceful.
there's nothing graceful about getting out of phase, let me just tell you.
Okay, good deal. Let's try that. Let's try to turn the body packs off so we're not having any static or anything. This should be fantastic
So
in
I'll
here.
turn mine off.
Yeah, turn yours off. We're actually going to turn those off physically, yeah. And chat, let us know how this goes. Just turn off both the receivers, and that's going to completely get rid of any static or anything like that, y'all. We will run the, you can smell? All right, cool. There, I'll over here and help.
I need to hold it, right?
Yeah, you hold it down.
Okay, that one's off.
Yep, this one's off as well.
Okay.
And you might have got a little bump there, chat. So we're both off. It's a little quieter. 5x5, bump it up 10 decibels.
To 0, right? Oh, yeah, there we go.
To 0, you get it there?
I hear it, yeah.
All right,
Got
so
it.
how's that sound, y'all? Do we sound okay in here? Can you hear us?
Yep.
It's really nice in here.
It's nice and quiet, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's like beds up there almost. Like, should we just take a nap?
What is that, Gene? Tell us about the interior.
Well,
let's walk.
Like I say, there's seating for 12, and this is the 1952 interior that was put in. We had them re-cushioned.
Yep.
The seats and everything were found in a building, a storage building, where
wanna sit
John
down?
found the airplane.
We can sit
Well,
down.
I was going to suggest, I was going to turn the radio on. I have a little portable radio to give you an idea of what they're doing and when they're moving, and then maybe get a
Let's
shot
go.
out of the windshield or something like that.
I mean, all right, I
I'll
guess.
probably let you sit.
Yeah, you can absolutely,
nice.
absolutely. If I let her start the engine, you can certainly
Let her start the engine.
Wow. So you can get in there, sit down.
Is it right here?
Yep. Yeah. And I'm just going to see what they're talking on here.
Sunglasses while I'm up here.
So what happens with this kind of flight? Everybody will be here. There'll be a start time, and I'm going to guess the start time looks like it was about 1:30.
Yep.
There'll be about a 10-minute warm-up. It's not too long because we all have flown already today. And then what they'll do is check in, and the way you do a flight, as maybe Doc explained to you, there's going to be 2 3s in a Vic, they call it.
Yep.
And so 6 airplanes total. So I forget what they're calling themselves this afternoon, but it's usually like Dakota or Omaha.
Right,
1, 2, 3. And everybody checks in as Dakota 1, 2, 3.
Based on their parking spaces or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep, whatever they're doing today. And then when the lead will call information, they call it here in Europe.
Right.
It's called Duxford Information. And Duxford Information controls the airplanes on the ground.
On the ground.
Now, as they get close to the runway, they say, take off your discretion, land your discretion.
Really?
Yeah, you have that discretion. So they're not controllers like the U.S.
Okay.
in the air. On the ground, they are.
They are. So they've marshaled the planes that are moving around, and the ground traffic, I guess, is really controlled. But once you get out there, they're just like, all right.
Well, they'll take you to the end of the runway,
Yep.
and then they'll tell the lead. And I forget who's lead today. And maybe that's all brother. He led this morning.
I think they said that they were leading again.
Wow.
But whomever is lead will make the one call
Right.
for all 6 airplanes.
All 6 aircraft. So again, we got a couple of them. There's All Brother up there, 3X at the end, and we've got another one there. Can't read that one.
I don't know.
Is that a Norwegian one, or was
That
it?
looks like one of the foreign ones.
Yeah. And Chad, how's the audio right here with the window open? Are y'all good? Or are you getting a bunch of audio from that?
There's some audio coming through, but you guys are still clear.
We do not plan to taxi the aircraft around right now. No, that's not a thing.
But they're going to.
The audio's fine. Oh my gosh, it's fantastic. Audio's perfect. Okay, good. Wow, excellent audio. You can hear the engines, but it's a nice background. Okay. Radial engines is a great background noise. It'd be weird not to hear the
Yeah.
plane.
Oh, it looks like they've already called.
Oh, yeah,
for
here we
the
go.
taxi.
And of course, Chad, I'm doing the thing. I don't know, Saber, if you can get it, but I got to put my arm out of the window.
Oh yeah.
Of course.
It's actually got like a little armrest. I don't know if that's specifically what that's for, but it's like a comfort thing.
Just for it to slide on, but you can fly with the windows open. That's about the only air conditioning we have.
Wow. So when you're flying, doing the maneuvers, does it get hot? Does it get cold? Like, how does it?
You're working.
Yeah.
This is a heavy airplane. You know, there's no boosted controls. So
Right.
You're moving everything.
You're moving everything. And you don't have air conditioning vents or anything like that. Like your air conditioner slides
we
this
have
open.
a little vent down here, but to be honest, it doesn't vent very much.
Doesn't do much?
And the heat from the radios and so on does keep the car.
So the heat from the radios?
Oh yeah. All these are older radios. They produce a little
They
heat.
produce a lot of
We
heat.
have an inverter that's right behind you here, produces heat. We like that though, going across the Atlantic.
Yeah, the heat.
We like the little heat because we do not have a heater.
What altitude do you, like when you're flying across, what altitude do you fly at?
Coming across Greenland, the minimum is 12.
Okay.
Coming across the U.S., we went up to 11,000, mainly for the tailwinds.
Okay.
You know, and also to get above lower clouds or whatever the case may be.
So when you're flying, I guess around the U.S., You're talking to air traffic control,
Correct.
and you hand off just like a regular commercial flight, or?
If you're flying IFR, instrument flight rules, yes, you'll fly that way. If you're flying VFR, you don't have to talk to anybody.
Okay.
You can ask them for what we call flight following, and that is you talk to them and they'll tell you if there's an airplane here or there.
Right. But you're just sort of going, doing your thing?
You can.
Do you have to steer around weather a lot? Because 10,000 is a lot lower than the flight that I flew here on, right?
Yeah. Oh,
so
absolutely.
is there a lot more of that because of the altitude, or?
Well, we don't have radar. That's what you would use radar for.
There's no touch screens up here. Well, that one might be.
It is. Yeah.
I see fingerprints on it. All right, down here I don't see any, but then I saw this one. So
Here, let's see. This is Betty's Biscuit. Right. They may be leaving today, or they may. They had to replace the cylinder the other day when they got here.
really?
Yeah, and the generator. We gave them our generator, and they haven't given us back the new one that they received. I have to get the new one back, and a couple of washers, but that's all right.
This is just so when you're taxiing, do you sort of have to like sit up so you can see? It's the nose up. It's really
Either that or do a little S turning.
So,
you
okay.
can see on the side. You'll see the fighters when they taxi. They do S
they do a little bit
turning.
of an S turn.
Yeah. This one, like say if you sit up tall a little bit, you can see over it.
Then I guess when you start your run to take off, right, the tail lifts up, and sort of gets
First
the nose
thing you
down a
want to
little bit.
do, get in that gives you your line of sight. Same thing for landing. That's going to be your position for landing.
Could you talk us through that? Like when you get this thing ready to go, like does it take 30 minutes? Does it take 10? Like what do you have to do?
Well, it depends. Like I say, they just started and flew, I think. Now, this guy didn't fly with us this morning. This may be a new bunch flying. Because that looks like the French airplane that came in.
Yeah.
Legends here. Now, they flew.
They did fly this morning. I think I remember them, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to curious to see who's going down there. There's a couple down there now.
Yeah, there's two C-47s over there. Then we've got this one. I think that's from Denmark or somewhere. There's a lot of planes with their engines running, though. There's actually...
Yeah, there should be 6.
I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 planes with the engines running right now. Does that mean that they're going, or maybe they just run it up?
Oh, yeah, no, they're going to go. They're not...
Okay.
At 100 gallons an hour, you're not going out for a little sight.
You're not going out for a sight seeing.
No.
Wow. And you don't just like sit there with your engines idling. Are you getting that, Saber?
Yeah.
Of course you're
He just
getting
gave a
that.
thumbs up right as I zoomed in on him. That was good medium.
The shiny one with the red flag on the tail is Norway, Chico. So the plane down there might be the Norwegian plane we saw earlier, if I'm looking at the flag correctly.
This is quieter than it's been all day.
Yeah.
Just to give you guys an idea of the puff of blue smoke in the start.
Right?
If you notice these cylinders, as Doc said, they're radial cylinders, and they're 2 banks of radial. So the lower cylinders sit upside down.
Okay.
So when you shut down, oil gets deposited into those cylinders.
Into the bottom cylinders.
And then poop up, there's your little puff.
And you just blow it out, and that
Blow
was
it
the
out.
big cloud of blue smoke that went over.
That's what you'll see.
Now you know, Chad.
Now the negative part of that is if an aircraft sits and that oil gets in that top part of the combustion chamber, and the valves are closed, you have a hydraulic lock.
Yep.
So the way we prevent it is we close these shutoff valves
Okay.
and keeps the oil in the tank, minimizes the oil in the engine.
It's going to build up in the cylinders because it's like getting past the rings or something and filling up the combustion
Yep,
chamber.
Exactly. You're exactly right. Yeah.
Is that okay? So we saw them preparing That's All Brother earlier, where they were pulling the engines through, right? And they were out there like spinning the props manually. Is that something they're checking for, just making sure everything's able to turn? Or
There's different philosophies.
different philosophies? Okay. What's yours?
Well, mine is that we sometimes do that if it's been sitting a long time, but those
Talking about-
props are extremely give you long leverage arms.
Yep.
So you could, without...
Dakota Lee's from Duxford. There's some fog that's blown across the grass runway. We're sending somebody out there now.
Fog?
Fog.
Prefer
Debris?
Debris.
Yep.
To collect that.
So if you grab that and give a good yank on it, you could attempt to compress that oil and bend a connecting rod.
Oh.
So you know, somebody not knowing what they're doing, they yank on it.
Right. So if you're out there trying to manually turn the prop like we saw earlier, and you don't know what you're doing, you're not experienced, you might actually damage the aircraft.
Correct.
Dakota
That's-
10,
That's one thing. Now, if you do it very slowly,
If you know what you're doing.
if you know what you're doing, and you got 18 cylinders doing all this, right? I'm just talking about the bottom ones usually, but you got these cylinders. If you get a hydraulic lock, that baby will stop like you hit a
You
brick
can
wall.
feel it.
Yeah.
And you know what you're doing. You don't try to force past
No,
it.
and you don't want to try to force past it. Remove a spark plug, drain the oil out, and then continue.
So that's what you do. You remove a spark plug, and that opens up the combustion chamber to let the oil out.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go. So there's one thought. Now the other thought, if you have good running engines,
Right.
and you know this is not a problem, in the Army training book, if the airplane sat for more than 2 hours, they would pull the props.
They'd pull the props, okay?
But we burn about a half a gallon an hour, which is low
Of oil.
of oil.
Of oil,
Yeah.
okay.
So, and by shutting these off, on the starter is a clutch.
Right?
So if the starter was turning, hit that hydraulic lock, it would disengage the starter.
Clutch would, yeah. Okay.
Now somebody would say, well, what if it failed? You know, so, I mean, there's always the
There's
what
always
ifs.
a thing.
There's always the thing.
I think pilots are opinionated sometimes, and what the way they think things should work
Yeah.
with their airplanes.
So we found that with this airplane anyway, and it varies with airplanes, that for us to just come out and start it
Yep.
works out pretty good.
Works out pretty good. So there was a great question in chat here. I've been sort of following along. Did you have to change the aircraft in any way to make it able to fly? I guess legal to fly in the UK? Or how does that work? You have to install another radio or turn on a different frequency? Or what do you have to do?
Well, we installed an additional GPS down there. We needed 2 GPSs for crossing.
Okay.
You know, real redundancy.
Redundant. I like
And
it.
what that new radio gave us was the spacing on the frequencies here. So in the US, we're still kind of at 122.8.
Right.
Well, here they're at 122.0875, you know, that 833 spacing. So that radio gives us that. But as far, let's see, what else? We will carry passengers on occasion, so we had to come up with briefing cards.
Okay.
We have
Like safety briefings?
safety briefing cards.
In the event of an emergency?
2 exits there, 2 exits there.
Do you step to the back of the aircraft and say, like, in the event of emergency, your closest exits may be behind you? Like,
You'll meet Peter on the way out.
yeah?
He's back there now doing it with Julia. But we had Liz. Liz made these briefing cards for us. I tell you, they are gorgeous. And I'm going to show you one just because.
Grab one of those.
Excuse me. Just because they are so gorgeous to see what she built. And she did this just online. But if that doesn't look as
Oh, wow.
professional as can be,
That looks straight up.
isn't that amazing? And
Main cabin
this-
door, grasp handle, and turn clockwise. Push door outwards. They're oxygen masks? No, because the plane's not pressurized.
We do
Well, it
have
doesn't go that
built-in
high.
oxygen
You
system,
do?
but
Okay.
only when the shoe company flew it all around the world. We have deactivated it, but there is oxygen outlets, you know, at each station.
Then you have like a mask that you could plug into that?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Oh, there's a back to it.
Yeah, see, they're brace
Window exits,
position,
the brace positions.
fire extinguisher.
How to work
here.
a fire extinguisher.
Isn't that a gorgeous card?
This is one of the beautiful little details that you wouldn't normally. We can stand over there, we can see the planes landing, taking off. It's amazing. But this is the sort of beautiful little detail in keeping these planes operational.
I give her immense credit for doing that. And as an example, these life jackets are the very jackets we have on board. She was able to transpose this from the jacket.
Did you like sketch that out, or?
I have no idea how she does these things. That's just one of her talents. She's a multi.
I like this. It says, note, this card contains important information. Please read before takeoff.
Yeah. Well, we had an open house at SeaTac before we left, May 11th, and we brought the airplane down there, and I had it all set up nice with the briefing cards in the seat pockets and the life jackets. Yeah. Somebody, they disappeared at the end of the
What?
So that's why I have those now hidden up here.
He's watching me.
Yeah.
He's like, put this inside
You got
my chair
it.
to
You
take it.
keep it.
He's keeping an eye on me. He's not gonna let me.
But it was the French and the UK government that required that. That's just one little item. Of course,
little
there's
detail.
insurance requirements,
Sure.
and, else stuff like that.
The fuel is the same and that sort of stuff, like the fuel that they run on.
100 low lead.
Okay.
Yep, it's pretty much the same here and there.
We've got 5 minutes on camera battery.
We have 5 minutes on the camera battery.
Okay.
Chat. It's a really good chart. Actually, we have a graphics designer in chat who said this is really well designed.
Yep.
Oh,
So there you go.
so you geez, you get replies that fast, though.
Yeah. Yeah, we could read them in real time. Hey, chat, put some hearts into chat and show them the real time here. We have like a 7 to 10 second delay between what we say and people all over the world hearing it from the backpack that he's operating right now.
Not amazing.
So, there's the hearts already. See the hearts?
Ah,
And
good.
people will start putting hearts in chat. And when they ask questions, yeah,
Okay.
I see the question there. And then sometimes I'd rather just listen to you and ignore them, so I just put the phone down and. See,
Well, you don't have enough battery, but you asked to go through a takeoff or a start. We can easily do that.
Oh, we've got plenty. I just have to swap it out.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can swap out.
Yeah.
Oh no, we have all days.
Oh,
for
we
the
have.
batteries.
That's what this whole pouch back here is for. Is extra
Yeah.
battery.
And
Everything, like everything else here, like should we talk about? Are those USB ports? No.
You didn't see that,
You
did you?
you charge your cell phone from that?
I tell you, an iPad gives you more technology than anything else on the airplane.
So we might not have them installed up here, but you have an iPad on your
We got it.
knee.
Absolutely. Yeah. We got a cigarette lighter over here.
It's a cigarette lighter.
I mean, come on, we're not totally in 1944.
Jeez. We're flying a historic aircraft, but we have technology, right?
Yeah, we do.
But this is just everything across the pressure on the different engines.
Well, look
cylinder
at it.
temperatures.
Okay, we've got two engines, so you got pretty much two of certain things.
Of some
you
slick up
notice
here?
that you notice, yeah, the two needles. So you got 1 and 2 overlapping, but
Oh.
there's a 1 and a 2.
Yep.
Yep. And now those happen to be our fuel flow.
Fuel flow.
Then over some of them, you'll see there's the right engine, the left engine.
Right.
That's pretty much in line there.
Okay.
And as you get down below, those are our fuel tanks. Remember I said
Down on the bottom, right?
Normally there's two, 4 tanks on a DC-3. We have 2 additionals. So
Right.
that's
Are those
why-
the outboard?
Yep, those are the outboard.
Gotcha. So
Yep,
the main fuel, the auxiliary
aux,
fuel,
and the outboard.
and then each one of those tanks was 200 gallons. So you got 404 gallons there, 400 gallons there, and then
You got it,
410
yeah.
gallons on the extras. Huh?
Yep.
Outside air temperature. And I like this, Chad. Did y'all see the difference there? And I know Saber's zooming in on this stuff. Some of the gauges, there's only one gauge for both engines, and they're 1 and 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then some of the gauges are doubled up, like down here, right? You have. Am I going to say this is for one engine, and this is for another engine?
Yeah, 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Right
So
and
an
left.
entire gauge for the right and left engine versus one gauge that can have two needles on it, right there. I'd never thought of that.
Now, this airplane, if you walked over and got into that airplane, or that airplane,
Right.
they're all going to be different.
Like
up here.
the orientation of the
Panel will
gauges,
be different.
Whether or not they have USB charging ports.
Exactly. This will probably be the same.
Okay.
Okay, but everything else is going to be different. A standard DC-3 has a bulkhead here.
Right.
This is our hydraulic system. A normal DC-3, the hydraulic system goes floor to the ceiling.
Right.
These are usually radio panels. Those are. There's never this much room in a normal DC.
This is like the best DC-3 to be in for this.
Well, and that's what they'll say, and that's what they'll say.
But we're in this one, so I'm
We're
saying
in
it
this
right
one.
now.
Yeah, this is the best one to be in. Absolutely.
Well, it was something that I noticed because we've been inside the DC-3 that's at Evergreen Aviation, where Julia was, right?
Yep.
And that has the bulkhead right here, and it was literally just this tiny space to be in. And I walked in here, and I'm like, it's quite roomy.
Yeah.
So-
That's why I say it's very comfortable. There's a couple things that you won't see on another one. That crossfeed valve, see the red valve
Right,
down
crossfeed.
there? And I think this is all part of our extra fuel tanks. We also have a fuel dump system.
Okay.
Like a modern airline
Right.
has a fuel dump system. Again, because of that huge capacity of fuel.
Yep.
If you take off and you're full of fuel and you lose an engine, you want to lighten your weight.
Lighten your weight.
So we could throw passengers out, or you could, dump some fuel.
There's less paperwork if you dump the fuel. If you dump the
correct.
passengers out, there's lots of
Lots of
paperwork involved.
Yeah.
Oh,
So see, you've got quite a bit of.
yeah. In the crossfeed,
Really,
can feed both
it-
engines from one side, or what
You
is that
can,
for?
yes, you could cross feed. Now,
Okay.
now, if you look up at the fuel gauge, see the
Right.
red handle there on
The
the
red right
pedestal?
there?
You'll see those also. Now, every tank is identified on that knob.
On the knob.
So that tank on the left side, you could turn that knob and feed off of this tank. So it's kind of a little redundant.
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
because most DC3s, like I say, do not have that cross feed on it. That's a little.
I'm gonna like other things, like there's trim and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
What is this wheel for?
Well, that's
Somebody made fun of me. Actually, my wife made fun of me for calling it the spinny wheel thing or something like that. So what
Well,
is this actually
you're
for?
correct with the trim wheel. That controls your pitch.
Okay.
You know? And when I mentioned the story about Pete Gauthier getting in here,
Right.
I probably am not saying it French.
That's okay.
Next week I'll say it differently. As soon as you get in the airplane, this hand will just rest on it.
Right? Just like
Yeah, and the other hand goes to the yoke. No autopilot. So when he knew all his flying was a little trim,
Right.
this, a little. Somebody goes to the bathroom, trim, you know. So your hand rests. 99% of your flying, you're going to have your hand resting on that.
on the trim wheel.
Yeah.
And y'all, this is the elevator trim, right? So we do it in Kerbal when we have to trim out the plane so it flies level based on how much fuel we have left and stuff like that. It's the same thing. This is the trim. Instead of holding down Alt and hitting a key on the keyboard.
So somebody's back already.
Yeah.
That was a pretty quick flight. That was only about 30 minutes.
Yeah, it was. They took off just a little bit after 13:30, and it's now 14:16.
That must mean.
This is brake squealing.
Yeah. I'm going to guess he has the balloon brake.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you're gonna have to kick us out, honestly. Like, when you have something else to do.
Peter wants to clean the windshield. That was his task this afternoon.
Wait, how do you do that? You like?
Well, he's gonna get out the overhead hatch here. And he's gonna get up there and clean the windshield.
So there's actually like a sunroof.
Well, remember that briefing you had?
Yeah, it's one of the emergency exits.
Yeah, that's the emergency.
Yeah, here, scoot out of the way.
Yeah. We'll put in, there's a little breeze out there, so I don't want to get too much here.
Yeah, yeah. Does it have like a safety harness or something on it?
It's so you don't lose
Retention thing, right? But that's how you clean the windshield? You literally just pop out of the...
Let's actually, before I take this off, let's see if Peter's ready.
Okay. And hey, chat, I'll scroll through and read right quick. I know that I haven't been reading chat. This is one of those times where we're not really paying a bunch of time to chat. But let me look through here. Is the giant lever that says flaps actually the flaps? I mean, I would hope so. Where are you seeing a giant lever that says flaps? Jeffrey, let me know what you said on that one. Yes, disable crossfeed in an action group, exactly. Can you ask where the extra fuel tanks are located? Are they like in the outside of the wing, or where are they?
Outside of the engines.
Okay.
If you notice, stick your head out.
Okay.
You'll take your picture.
Stick your head out.
And if you look straight back between the fuselage and the engine, you see two covers there.
Yes, I see.
Kind of a black walkway.
Yep.
Now behind the engine, you see the black walkway going outboard of the engine.
Yep, I see it.
That goes to another fuel tank.
So we can get that when we're out behind the aircraft, chat.
Yep.
We'll be able to see what he was just pointing out there. Julia! She's talking down there as well. All right. And I do continue to scroll through here, but we're about to clear out and make room. I was going to offer to wash the windshield for you. I have to do something to earn my keep around here, right? But I don't think they want me to slide off the top of the aircraft.
No, we do not.
Upgraded, since she said I don't mind historic vehicles being upgraded sensibly. Yeah, exactly, like extra safety features or the navigational thing, so it's a little bit safer to go across the Atlantic and stuff like that. That does make good sense. Oh,
They're just taxiing by.
there goes, that's all, brother, right there.
I'd say it's like a P-51 flying or a Spitfire flying, a DC-3 taxiing.
Just in the background.
That's
Whatever.
in the background.
It's no big deal.
Well, our earlier reference when we were talking to Doc over there about
Right.
the DC-2, I did fly the DC-2 at the museum for about 35 hours. And the DC-2 became famous in the U.S. because of the McRobinson race in 1934
Okay.
from Mendenhall, England to Sydney, Australia.
Wow.
Now, de Havilland built 5 racers to compete in that. The number one that won, the Grosvenor House, won the race. The US DC-2 came in second.
Really?
And the Boeing 247 came in third, and then the third de Havilland was in
Was
fourth
the next
place.
one.
Was
All
in
right.
fourth place. When we were at Shuttleworth yesterday, they had that de Havilland Comet that flew the race in 1934.
Wow.
And it flew.
It flew?
It flew. That's, to me, that was a hell of a experience. That was just something to see.
Again, y'all, it's the difference between like a museum and a collection, right? The museum, you walk around a museum, you see aircraft, but collection, the aircraft actually still fly. And when we say that it's that aircraft, we don't mean it's that design of aircraft, that model of aircraft. You mean that aircraft, that specific piece of equipment.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna stand up and start heading back this way.
Okay.
Now, right?
And if you see Peter back there, send him up,
Yep.
and we'll get the windshield clean.
All right.